Is Russia using wheat as a weapon? Since it launched its war on Ukraine in February, Russian missiles have destroyed wheat fields, farms and machinery, disrupting the growing, harvesting and export of grain. Ukrainian cargo ships carrying crops were held up in ports, which were themselves attacked by the Russians, as in the Black Sea of Odessa and Mykolaiv. Before the war, Ukraine, considered a global breadbasket, was a key producer and exporter of basic foodstuffs such as wheat. Between 2016 and 2021, some 90% of its wheat exports were destined for Africa and Asia, including the world's poorest regions. Fears of famine in these regions have continued to grow. A chain of actions, starting with the Russian invasion of Ukraine, led to a wheat crisis and a global increase in food prices. Food prices have also soared in the EU, adding further pressure on low-income households. The fact that Russia has become a major wheat producer and the largest exporter in less than 20 years has also contributed significantly to the crisis.
The Kremlin is using food as a silent weapon of war. Russia's dangerous hunger games is solely responsible for the global food crisis.
To help Ukraine export its agricultural products, the European Commission presented an action plan in May 2022 to establish EU-Ukraine solidarity channels. More than 18 million tons of Ukrainian grain, oilseeds and other products have been exported via the solidarity lanes. To tackle the global food crisis and avoid a new disaster, the EU is focusing on 4 areas: solidarity, open trade, sustainable production and global cooperation. EU countries also contribute significantly to global food security by exporting a large part of their own agricultural production to developing countries. President of the European Council, Charles Michel, also announced the mobilization of 8 billion euros in financial support to address food security in developing countries. However, affordability of food is also an issue for Europeans themselves. To tackle rising food prices, EU countries are reducing VAT rates, using dedicated EU funds to help the most disadvantaged, and encouraging retailers to keep prices low. Despite all these mitigating measures and solutions, the food security situation remains fragile, which is why the EU is committed to standing united against Russia and supporting the nations in need.